Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, there's a marked difference between the, I guess, work ethic of these earlier generations and these later generations. Like you said, I mean, even if you look at the current incomes of, let's say, Vietnamese immigrants, a lot of whom came over during, the war, had absolutely nothing. A lot of them are still, doing better than the average white household. And, this isn't due to education. This is just due to work ethic. And I think, the brilliance of the American dream. But I think, these Asian students who are right now going to these, universities, expensive degrees, studying gender studies, then, going to work at salon, I think it goes to show that college can't fix everything, right? I mean, a college degree is great, but it's not a magic degree. It's not going to magically create wealth. If you don't have that entrepreneurial spirit, that hard work ethic, it's still not going to get you.
Especially if it's a science degree, because as we know, science does not equate to truth. Thank you, Slate. You've taught us a valuable lesson today.
Well, I had a question because you bring this up, and it makes me think. I have a friend whose parents immigrated from Laos, and he kind of grew up in a very, like you said, a very conservative household, very entrepreneurial. But it's kind of the opposite for him.
Is this the one who served as the Tommy from Baltimore sketch?
Jeffrey from Baltimore.
Yes, go ahead, yeah.
So he kind of finds himself on the opposite side where he sees the Black Lives Matter movement, he sees the LGBTQAIP movement, and kind of this decade of oppression Olympics. They feel a little left out. It's like it pushes him more toward conservatism because he feels so screwed and left behind by the rest of the minority classes in America right now.
I wonder if that's because it just comes down to parents giving you a critical thinking filter. Do you think that's a big component to why you are the way you are?
I mean, personally, I can only speak from personal experience, but
I want you to speak for all of Laos.
Yes, all of Laos.
Yeah, so
now.
On behalf of the Laotian people, if King of the Hill serves me right, that is the correct demonym. But yeah, I mean, I've got to say, when I think of, people ask me that all the time, like, you didn't grow up in the States, you grew up in, I grew up in mainland China for a bit, mainly Hong Kong, but also mainland China and Canada, two, pretty socialist, if not straight up communist places. Like, why do you think the way you do? And I got to say, a lot of it comes down to my parents. And, for a lot of these immigrants, I think there's a struggle between, wanting to have your children assimilated to the new culture, but also give them the same values you had, between wanting to work your butt off to give them a good future, but also be able to spend the amount of time that you need to raise them properly, right? So I don't think there's one answer across all immigrant populations, but I think the Asian population in general is a pretty interesting one because, if you look at any stats social justice warriors bring up to, imply that there is racial oppression of non-whites in the United States, Asians completely knock any of those out of the water.
Well, then they say,